Take us off there, Drew Johnson.
はい。気をつけ。後ろ回って右、ギと帯を直す。For those that have them.
What is it? Maybe E or belt or a combination there.
正面。先生に礼。お願いします。
お願いします。
お願いします。
先生に礼。こんばんは、先生。
Trying to work out sorry, I had some stuff going on upstairs. I think that's it too. So for tonight, we'll warm up and we'll do some 25 basics, and then we'll figure out what we want to get into. How about that?
All
right. So I got. We'll take a break from the hell warm-ups. Say yes. Even though clearly I haven't tried before. Everybody have fun swinging forward this weekend?
Oh.
Right, that'll say no. I don't know why they don't say, okay, you just do it like that Friday at 4 o'clock. Swing it forward. And then fall back Monday morning at like 6 o'clock.
That's what I said. I'm like, why do they rob us of an hour on the fun day and, you know, not the Monday?
Yeah. Specifically, we should spring forward or fall back on whenever it is a day when it's like a 3-day weekend. So that way you get off earlier for the 3-day weekend and sleep in later.
Yes.
Take it that way. One day when I'm president. Oh, I don't have enough of a criminal record, sorry. Topical.
Oh, this is the last president we're ever gonna have.
Yes, it's true. Or sure seems like a reason. What are you talking about? I gotta be the prime minister, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hey, arm, take it around.
Well, you know, because we're not gonna have any allies left. You know, by next week probably, because he's pissing everybody off and cozying up to, you know, all the dictators. So
Take it across. Yeah. Yes.
letting Elon do his dirty work for him.
Immigrants taking the jobs. Take the run or switch. And take it across. That's what, like last Tuesday, I went to go visit the Sean Rue guys because it's like, you know, I just need another workout. I just want to, you know, not think for a little while. Just do karate. All right, this one down. Okay, we're gonna do a little just slightly different with this one. You're gonna go heel down, finger up, and you're gonna stretch. And then just alternate. Breathe out when you do it. It's an homage to something that happened. Push that heel out. So you get a full stretch. All right. Good deal. And your hips, stick around. Oh, your twin turbos back into full performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other way. Ready to take Coda by storm?
No. I mean, I'd like to, but they won't they won't let me drive it the way I want to drive it unless I modify it for safety. So, well, I mean, it's fair because they don't want, you know, some guy like me, you know, watched, you know, races on TV and has a car that's faster than it should be doing stupid stuff on their track. So
Yeah. And mess up the tarmac, the skid marks and blood, yeah, I can.
yeah. So they have events sometimes where you can drive it like 30 or 40 miles an hour for
Yeah.
safety and stuff. But someday I'd like to drive it on there.
Oh, I thought you'd already had that one, so maybe I was thinking of jet.
Yeah, it was Jet. He used to ride his bike out there.
And that guy went going too, he's. You're gonna switch?
But he just kept moving farther and farther out of the area.
Yeah,
Like
no,
he's
maybe he's in
probably
Mexico.
in San Antonio by now.
Well, if San Antonio doesn't have a racetrack, probably not.
Yeah, but where Coda is, it's closer to San Antonio than it is up here.
That's true. Good point. Read in, read out. That is a very good point. It is kind of North San Antonio. Take deep breaths. Shake it out and stretch it out. Farther, if you dare. Locking it. And heels together and take your knees around. Don't take anyone else's knees around.
These knees.
Take the other way. Pedal, make a nudge. Roll your ankles. Oh, there it was.
There it is.
See that or ACL. Aoki, since he told me he had online class yesterday, and he was just doing a back kick, just a regular sort of easy back kick warm up, and pulled his hamstring. He's like, oh. Like that's, but he's 69, so he's like, hey, so yeah. High mileage. Arms out, wait, bye-bye. Oh, they come here. Got that ball, roll it around. Ooh. Fingers. Grab heat. If you have them.
I say Adam's not too far off from summer gi, which,
He's
you
not.
know, from the weather off, or the weather forecast here, it's supposed to be like 90 degrees by Wednesday or Thursday.
Or.
It's already 70 here.
Yeah, it was like 70
Now that's global warming.
today.
In Austin, that's just spring. But yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Well, it's global warming because it, you know, when I first moved here, it didn't hit 90 until, you know, the end of May. And now
Right.
it's March, so, you know,
Yeah. No, it's that's I
and it was like 80 in February at one point, so that's not right.
yeah, like everything it pretty much melted off and then it snowed last night.
Ha!
And then I mean pretty much it snowed a good chunk of yesterday, but it was all kind of like anyway, this morning, you know, I got up and it was there was a layer of snow and everything, but the stuff that had melted had frozen, right? So there was a little layer of snow under ice. So when I took the dogs for a walk, I was like, sea stepping. And
Yep.
but then the sun came out around noonish and it's all gone. So
Yep.
I was like, oh, wow, that's just, I don't know how that works. So up here, they're all like, they keep saying it's weird. They go, well, the winter's been weird. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, it's just, well, it's been weird.
Hasn't been
Okay.
6 feet of snow for
Right.
5 solid months.
You're not seeing polar bears walking through the street, I guess, so that's weird, yeah, it's weird. Alright, they got some 25 basics real quick, or they got some 25 basics.
Hey.
And then we'll move along. We'll do it in our standard 10 and 10 gosoku, which as we all know will be hard and fast. And I'm out of focus, want to. Swear to God, I know what it is. Shitzel. Anyway, alright. Double punch, Chudotsuki. 3 and 5 and 10. Come on. It's me. Don't shoot. Go. Pitch. Pitch. Pew. A little harder, a little faster. It's me. So. Shoot. Go. Rook. Stitch. Fetch. Two. Two. Okay, high punch. Shironsuki. Come on. Hips. Knee. Toe. Cheek. Go. Rook. Stitch. Fetch. Two. Two. It's neat. Top. Cheek. Goat. Rook. Pitch. Touch. Shoot. You. punch, Brooke. Come on, hits, knee, salt, deep, no, up, teach, touch, shoot, gosoku, hits, knee, salt, deep, no, up, teach, touch, shoot, Richard. Cross my garage. Come on, it's top, cheat, no, right, it's shoot, you, it's me, top, cheat, dirt, right, six, touch, shoot, you. Got it. It's me, top, cheat, no, right, it's touch, shoot, use. It's don't cheat, use, rush, ditch, ditch, do, do, do. Come on, it's this, don't, do, no, rush, ditch, ditch, do, do. It's me, don't cheat, use, rush, ditch, ditch, do, use. That no mind, come on. It's me, so deep, you, inch, inch, you, you. It's me, so cheap, you, inch, inch, you, you. Okay. Come on, it's me, so cheap, you, inch, inch, you, you. It's me, so cheap, you, rush, pitch, touch, do. Okay. Come on. It's me, so cheap, you, rush, pitch, touch, do. It's me, so cheap, you, rush, pitch, touch, do. Got it. It's me, so cheap, you, rush, pitch, touch, do. It's neat, so cheap, you, rush, pitch, touch, do. Together. Ah, It's. Ni. So. Chi. Do.
Hey.
Sitch. Fetch. Do. Do.
Hey.
It's. Ni. So. Chi. Do. Rep. Sitch. Fetch. Do. Do. Benzuki. Yeah, bunch, come on, it's. Neat. Salt. Chief. No. Pitch. Hush. You. Do. It's. Neat. Salt. Chief. Go. Rook. Pitch. Hush. You. Do. My game. Come on. It's. Neat. Salt. Chief. No. Rook. Pitch. Hush. You. Do. It's. Neat. Salt. Sheep. No. Rub. Stitch. Touch. Cute. Do. Alright. Pick it up. Block. Okay. This time. There. Something bird. Come on. It's. Neat. Salt. Sheep. No. Rub. Stitch. Touch. Cute. Do. Come on, it's neat. Salt. Cheap. No. Rub. Stitch. Touch. Cute. Do. Sudac. Shirt together. It's neat. Top. Neat. No. Rub. Pitch. Touch. Cute. Do. Gosoku. Come on, it's neat. Salt. Cheap. Go. Rub. Stitch. Touch. Cheap. Do. Something to keep in mind is when we're, especially when you're going harder or faster, or gosoku, is, and especially with this one and yokogeri, is don't start bobbing and weaving. It's the only thing that really should be moving is this guy. Right. So if you go faster, same thing with, yokogeri people. Start doing that. It's up, out, back. This shouldn't move too much. All right.
I can say.
Hey, look at those. All right. Speaking of yokogeri, come on. Don't forget to look when you're going fast.
Right.
Hips. Knee. So. Sheep. Do. Rub. Stitch. Touch. Do. Do. It's neat. So. Sheep. Do. Rub. Stitch. Fetch. Shoot. Do. Nicely done. Not a lot of bopping. Or weaving, for that matter. Alright. Say again?
I said domo arigato.
Hey, the one I got through. Or you told me what I got through. W ready. Take it. And on the Zimpo, try and in an homage to Kaicho, try and kick higher than you normally would. Just for fun. Come on. It's neat. So cheap. Yep. Rip. Six. Touch. Two. Do.
Hey.
Come on, it's neat. So cheap. Out. Rip. Six. Touch. Two. Do. Whew. Watch getting. Let me guess, you should have. Let's do this one shoot on, so even for the floaters.
Right.
Or the solar plexus, depending on which way you guys aiming.
Right.
My hits. Neat. So. Cheap. Go. Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Shoot. Do. Hard pass. Hits. Neat. So. Cheap. Go.
Hey.
Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Shoot. Do.
Hey.
Attack. It's neat. So keep go. Go. Six. Catch. Two. Two.
Hey.
Come on. It's neat. So cheap. Go. Rub. Six. Catch. Two. Two. I don't think that was really any faster, but especially on that side. Whew. Do that. Shiageti. Hands on yourself. Remember, when you go faster, make sure you're looking. Actually, make sure you're looking all the time. When you go faster, double yourself.
Hey.
5. Hits. Neat. So. Cheap. Go. Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Cute. He's up. Do.
Hey.
Come on. Hits. Neat. So. Cheap. Go. Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Cute. Do. Whew. All right, we got Shishiro. Side kick, front kick. Come on. It's neat. So. Cheap. Go.
Hey.
Gosoku. Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Shoot. Do.
Hey.
Untie. I don't think it's necessary to do twice as many of those. Come on. Hits. Neat. Salt. Sheep. Go. Gosoku. Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Go. Do. Untie. Front kick. The inside kick. Come on. Hits. Neat. So. Cheap. Go.
Hey.
Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Go. Do.
Hey.
Untie. It's neat. Oh. Cheap. Oh. Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Go. Do. Get it okay, fast back slow.
Right.
It's neat. Don't cheat. Go. Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Go. Do. And yes, you should. Second, Jefzuk.
Hey.
It's neat. Don't cheat. No. Rup. Pitch. Pitch. You. Do. Also, who is neat. Don't cheat. No. Rup. Pitch. Pitch. You. Do. So ordinarily, I'd say, Adam, why is your belt not moving? He did it purely to get out of that critique. All right. I'll do that. You got your chair over by. It's neat. Don't cheat. No.
Hey.
Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Good. Do. Come on. It's neat. Don't cheat. Go. Rup. Sitch. Fetch. Good. Do. So, yeah, on those guys, when you do them fast, I challenge you, unless you're moving so fast I can't even see it, is to make sure that you're blocking, kakyuking, grabbing, pulling, and pushing. So even if you pull it from here, even if you're thinking about it, black belt style or whatever, there still should be some. Because part of that is that part, right? So,
Nice and thick.
you want to go fast. Usually after about 1 or 2, I go, oh, okay, I need to make sure that I'm getting my technique in there. I might just, do mambo number 5 and then. All right.
Nice and thick. What do we got to?
All right, knuckles. There we go. Knuckles. Hits. Knee. Don't. Cheek. Ew. Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Coop. Do. Toesies. Come on. Hits. Knee. Salt. Cheek. Out. Rip. Stitch. Fetch. Coop. Do. Push-ups. Fine. It's me. So. Cheap. No. Rip. Sitch. Fetch. Two. Two. Stretch your back. So the prank position. My. Hydrate. I'll take. Yep. Great, your tunic. Yuriku.
気をつけて、ありがとうございました。
Hey, don't lose that stuff. Eat Yuriku, everybody. Unless you don't want to. This is something that I'm trying to answer. So that's a very good point. That's one of the reasons why I always stress technique over power or speed or whatever. There is like Hanshi back in the day, like even maybe when I was brown belt, he was still pretty powerful when I was brown belt, early black belt. I could see him slow down. Like he wasn't kicking as hard or as fast or correction. He wasn't kicking as fast or as high or whatever. But he still kicked hard. He still hit hard. When he would do push-up and demonstrate like knuckle push-ups, and you'd hear him hitting stuff, I mean, he was hitting, so he was hard, but he was at that time, late 60s, probably, whatever, yeah, late 60s, mid 60s. Anyway, so like, yeah, your Muay Thai coach, yeah, you kind of get that level and you kind of plateau, probably relative to him when he gets up in the morning, he's probably like, I'm not as fast as I used to be when I was 25. 30. All right, but he's been doing it so long, he does it probably with far less effort. Like for example, I think I've told you this before, Judancha. Back in my military days, I operated with the SEALs. I can't really talk about it, but one of them, we were down there one day. We picked him up from somewhere and went down to the torpedo room, and all the young dudes were all like buff and cut, and they were doing push-ups and dips and all this other stuff. And then there's the two senior guys, Fisher and Butler, were sitting over there, kind of watching them. And Fish, we operated him a couple times, and anyway, he had a slight punch. And you know, all these other guys, they had their shirts off. They were like, and we were sitting down one day, and I said, "Hey, man, I can't help but notice you're a SEAL, and you kind of have a little gut." And he kind of smiled. He goes, "Dude, I think he was like late 30s, maybe early 40s or whatever. You know, he was like a beef, or I mean, I was getting towards the end of it. He said, look, he said, you know, I can't do what they do anymore. He says, I can't work out enough to get rid of this. This is just age." He said, "But you know what? I've been doing this 20 years. And he says, I can out swim, I can outrun, and I can outfight, and I can outshoot all of those guys." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He says, "I've been doing it so long, you know, I'm still operating, you know, like we're operating down here, he's operating up here, and they're technically probably operating physically up here. But from an efficiency and, you know, experience point, he's probably like way up here or whatever." So, so that's probably one of those things is like, I'm not denigrating your Muay Thai instructor at all. I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, it's one of those things like, wow, they make it look really easy. Well, because it is really easy to know. And they're not expending maybe anywhere near as much effort to achieve, you know, whatever. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely, there are times I get up in the morning and go like, man, I wish I worked out more when I was younger. So, there it is. All right. I was thinking, what time is it? Now we got about a half hour. I'll move the floor. My thought was like, just basically for right now, since we've got camp coming up, we can either focus on testing stuff for anyone who's testing, or should be testing, or wants to look like they're testing. Or we can just like, just pick a kata and just like beat that up, go fast, go slow, go whatever, talk about it. I'll leave it to you guys, because I didn't really have a plan for today. Yeah, what you said, Adam.
I'll leave it up to the ranking non-commissioned officer.
Why don't we do that? Talk to me. I'm here for you.
Want to do a deep dive on the Pinan kata?
All right.
Or since we only have half an hour, like 2 of the Pinan kata?
We can have that, or we can do one of the Pinan kata. Whatever you want. Pick one. You get 1 in 5 chance. Unless you know
Start
the
with
rate.
3.
Pinan Sandan. All right. Supposedly there's a great Pinan kata somewhere in the world, and it's basically just all the Pinan kata slammed together. I don't know. All right, Pinan Sandan. Make it happen. Walk through it.
I thought you said Did you say Pinan?
Me or him?
Pinan.
Either of you.
Pinan.
Okay, I thought you said Kihon.
Kihon.
I was like,
oh.
We've done the Kihon kata maybe once, but I don't remember them.
No, we're doing Pinan Sandan. Sandan.
Okay.
Trade on. You want to do it like that? Oh. Make it fabulous. All right.
Pinan
Pinan
Sandan.
Sandan. Yep. One of my top 3 Pinan kata. I rank it somewhere right in the middle. All right. Yeah, let's get it. Got the Pinan Sandan.
Hey.
All right. That's it. Okay. Okay. All right, good. That was the rust one. That one's off. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna stroke my beard knowingly and want you guys do it. Pinan Sandan, kyosuke. Yeah. And no, kyosuke. All right. Good deal. All right, we'll go through that hard for a minute. Just some notes. So. Okay, I'll do it this way, so that way I'm doing the thing. Is, yep, looking, engage that other hand, carry, block. When you come in, bring those hips in just a little bit. Not, that, because I was over at the basket, but you wanna, my thought is you kind of wanna get that hip underneath there, so you're hitting. You wanna engage those hips just a little bit. So if you don't bend your knees, it's a little bit harder to engage your hips, so. So same thing here, so when you're stepping back here, don't make the step be this leg, make the step be your hips that you just engaged. That way, it's all just turned around here. And the same thing here, when you're coming back to the zero, it's you're coming in, like it's almost like you're stepping in. So that way, these guys are coming in, bam, right? And then as we all know, you're hitting that down. I do it like it's a 3/4, just like you're doing the rest of them. And then when this comes in, it's like it just. I'm not bringing it up under like, although there's an argument is, I go here, I'm thinking about them being on top of their arm, so I'm gonna pull straight in as opposed to down. Again, from the hips, get on the ball of your foot and hit it. All right, don't let your head swing it around. It's coming from the hips. And then again, hips when you're coming back around. All right. So Drew, when you spin around, do that spin around? After you do boom, and come back around. Okay, all right. I'll do it on this side. When I come around, I'm kind of checking my giggleberries and then coming up. All right. We've seen other systems that, when they do like a thing. Wait on, it's and that's defaulting back to Grand Sensei and Great Grand Sensei for some of you, which is supposedly apocryphal. It was from Hohan Soken, who said never turn around unless you're guarding your business down here. So you may see Adam, like even like Fukuda each, when I punch, when I turn, I put the hand down here because I'm protecting this action. So when I do that and I come back here, I come up like that. I'm okay with over the head. I'm okay with shot. I see because I see the application for both of those. I think it's, it's like, they punched, boom, I'm knocking them out of the way. I've changed body and I'm clearing everything around so I can hit them. People will say like, well, you're opening up your business there, but my thought is I'm outside of it. So I'm on the outside of his right, left punch for whatever reason. I've knocked that arm out of the way, so I'm not really worried about a counter to make that work. But then I can also see the wisdom of just knocking it away and hitting it from there. Because really, my favorite application for this is someone is punched or whatever, I'm grabbing that, maybe like his left arm, and I'm pulling it down into Hikate, and I'm using that to roll it over, and then give him a shot to the nose or to the head or whatever, or getting him into an arm bar, bam, and going on. So that's why I'm okay with either one of those. It's just as long as the technique looks good. Yeah, and then this guy, for me, it's here, it's coming in, and yeah, that one's coming back. I like to see the elbow a little higher, almost like it's, well, like this, kind of covering your nose, or you're biting your elbow almost, and then kind of the same way. I don't like to think about it down. That could just be kata, I don't know. There we go. All right, that was some food for thought. So Moichido, then we'll go hard. So this time, do it solid and technique driven. Go, let's get it. Got the Pinan Sandan.
Hey.
Yeah. Right. Hundred. Damn it. That's good, eh? And what are you doing on those? I mean, what's your technique on those? Your preferred technique?
Who?
Adam,
Uh,
the guy not in a gi.
I've heard it's a strike, but the stance doesn't really indicate that should be a strike. Like it's not against anyone heavy. It's like I actually don't know what it's supposed to be.
Well, okay, that's fair enough. I am of a mind that your technique looks better when you think you're doing something, right? So, yeah, so for me, I've heard, you know, a lot of people, they're like, okay, you know, someone's right up against you and you're giving them an elbow and you're punching them. They're really close to you for reasons like they've done that or whatever, and your elbow and you punched, you know, and then, I don't know, you're doing this again. So yeah, I you know, like with your stance, it's like if they're right behind you. Oh, baby. So baby is attacking me, and they're right there. You know, whatever this part is, you know, is I'm shooting there, and so hit there. Maybe they move forward a little bit, and then I'm supposed to reach back and hit them. As we were talking about earlier, at a certain, you know, there's a certain age where my this is not going to reach back that far, even if they do that number when I hit them. Right? And if their stance isn't good, if I do that, they're probably going to do that number and move away. And if they're really rigid, put their weight on the back of their heels, and you hit them right there, they'll probably go back rather than do that number. If they're strong, if you're fighting another martial artist. And then with this guy, like if they go straight back, I'm not going to touch them, right? Because they're going to go back. And anyway, so I still treat these as I'm doing an elbow and I'm doing a hit, but I really lead with this elbow. I really do much more like someone's come at me and I'm grabbing that and I'm moving out of the way and I'm like, bam, I'm catching with an elbow, and just getting out of the way. Because that way, just application wise, I've got some emphasis on it. I'm also a proponent of this being one of the few times where there's an A, B, C, D. Belly interrupting comes in. I'm intercepting their strike or whatever, getting out of the way, pulling them in, catch them with an elbow, grabbing their hair, and then taking them around for a takedown. All right, and that's easy. The footwork doesn't necessarily belie that, because like this isn't gonna do it. I think you need to get a little hip in there, you know, one way or the other, but, that was a long way around the barn saying, as long as you think of a technique, then the sort of snap and the power will be there. If you're just kind of like it's a thing and a thing, it doesn't come out. So find a technique that you can get behind for this, find a technique that you can get behind for this, and it'll give your technique some focus on what you're doing. Not that I want to get hit by any of your techniques in any way, shape, or form. To maximize your kata performance. Yeah, you know, it's like it kind of makes you wonder if like at some point there was like you're coming in and you're going coming in back this way, you know, and then they just for kata's sake, they kept it tight. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I want you to know on this one, power. Just go look for power. You're coming in and come here. But breathe. Don't let your power overcome your breathing. All right, I want you to know. Pinan Sandan, today. Kata Pinan Sandan.
Hey.
Yeah. Ready phase. Hydrant. Ooh, there's some karate face right there. There you go. Oof, that's a good one. Yeah, baby. Yeah, man. Okay. You both had equal levels of power. Drew, you had a much better karate face.
That's the federation right here.
Darn tootin'. Loudest Kia too. Well, now that Tom's not training anymore, loudest Kia. You were second. Sorry, man. But Adams is like passive. It's like you see his punch, and it's just like I see the power in the punch, and I look at his face, and it's just like nothing there. Dead eyes, like doll's eyes. Actually, it's just a blink affect, so I guess that's pretty good. But good, I can. But both of you guys. So and that's the thing. It's like it's so the power comes through, the emphasis comes through, you know, and you're channeling through it with your face through and whatnot, and like for the elbow strike like that, I could really see Adam like engage his hips on there, and it was a nice circular, like this was arguably linear, but that movement was circular, and so it was like a, yeah. So you know, but you were having, I don't know if you noticed it, Adam, because you were real busy doing the kata. Is you know, it wasn't so much you did this and then came around and then brought your hips back, which is like sort of a linear, if you will, explanation for, you know, coming in and bam, is you caught that, it was like a whip, kind of sort of like your hips came around and this came around. You probably didn't notice your hips weren't coming all the way around, but your core, your tendon was kind of coming around, and I could see that power coming in on that strike. And then coming in, so it was like it came in, and but your hips weren't coming all the way forward, which, you know, arguably someone would go like, your hips need to square up, but you were letting that you're letting the head, the leg come through. You're letting your chi flow, so that's the right way. Good deal. All right, want you to know, and I'll do it that way one more time. Really think about, you know, your hips and your feet. Also, I was noticing a couple times where the weight was kind of on the back foot instead of being on the balls of the feet, a little bit on the turns and stuff like that. So just think about that, and think about especially these 180s where you got to do that, and the 90s, basically on all the turns. Pay attention to your hips. All right, what you do? Let's get it. Got the Pinan Sandan.
Right.
Yep. And then read out. Now you're ready. Hudson. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That makes. That's it. Good. Yeah. So in the end, Adam, I don't know if you're just you're making your own stuff doing it, or you're actually seeing it, but like I'm seeing a little more deliberate action on those. The head's coming around. Yeah, so on these guys, when you're coming in, that's a block, that's a block, that's a block. Now, you can say the emphasis on this one is a block, right? This is a block, and then this is a block and a strike, and this is a block and a strike. Well, if it's a block and a strike, they're both doing something. So you want to get some snap in there or some power. I mean, even if you're thinking about this is just like a down strike, that's gonna be that, and this is gonna be up here is gonna be a Chudanuki. You know, my close personal friend, Ian Abernathy, he thinks of that as a as like you're catching somebody or correction, you know, you're blocking, you're grabbing it. So you're grabbing like this part of you're grabbing their wrist and you're going like boom, block one, and then come up underneath and crank on it. So you're like, you're kind of catching it and then snapping it. so I tend to, although I like that, I tend to think it much more as like, you know, someone's coming in and they're punching and you're catching it and then maybe like, bam, hitting them one. So if I'm gonna hit him down here one and keep a hold of his hand, I gotta keep a hold of his hand. This has gotta be firm, right? So boom, and then maybe catching this and moving it out of the way and popping. Both hands are active, right? So both hands are doing something. There's a point to, this is a down block and a strike, this is a down block and a strike, or this is two blocks, they're kicking in, punching, you know, and so both of them are doing something, so they both should have a dedicated target. I'm not saying this is just an observation.
Is there a knee bend in Kenshinkan on this technique? Because in Kobayashi, it was here, and then we came in like in Nijushiho, and it was the first one was knees bent, and then you stand up as you
Right.
hit. And so is that not a thing in Kenshinkan officially for the sake of the kata?
Not necessarily from a performance standpoint, but like I was mentioning earlier about that is like, you know, you come here and then you want to kind of engage those hips. So if you stay upright,
right,
you can't really engage your hips. If you come in and you have some bend in your knees, you can kind of engage your hips, right? Because there's a place for them to go. So I think that's kind of what you're talking about, is coming in and like, yeah, so that was one of the things that Ian Abernathy's talking about, is he's coming in and you're going like 1, 2. And so, yeah, he did that with his as well. So for me, I don't think it's a, you know, you're dropping down and going 1, 2. I think you're just coming in and they're there, so you can engage them a little. Okay. But
the only reason I bring it up is because I've always envisioned it as you catch that block on the inside and you come in, that's a double strike, a strike to the adductor or the groin maybe, but the adductor, you're coming in a little low to break the stance, and then maybe they get squirrely or whatever and try to throw another, but the idea is a double strike, you know, to the solar plexus and the groin, and then up a little bit to kind of throw it in there. So that's the way I've always envisioned it, mainly because of that coming in, you know,
Yeah,
low and then standing up. So that's the only reason I asked.
yeah. So I mean, like, if they're down here and you like, come up. Yeah, I mean, you've taken them down and now you're taking your hips up underneath it. Down, you're locking that arm out and now you're smashing it, right? So,
I mean, it's a very crane thing to do. If you block and then you grab and pull down and up,
Yeah.
break the arm, and then grab that arm and pull up and break it
Yeah.
again. You know,
yeah,
so
so, yeah, I think that may come under one of those headings of like, someone was just demonstrating something and it became a thing. I'm not saying it's not, I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, because there could be a few different applications of what's going on there.
Yeah.
And there are a few different, important things to do. So, just like, and boom, boom, and then come here, and like I say, I've seen systems that do this number.
Yep. Kobe actually does that.
And it's like, okay, what are you doing? And I've heard like, oh, well, you're coming around and they're near you and you're going down and grabbing the hem of their gi and you're pulling them up. And then you're twisting them over, right? And and then for some reason you do this a couple of times. I'm like, okay, sure. I can kind of see maybe that happening at one point, but does that happen anywhere else in our system?
Right.
It's kind of there's like, so that was probably something where, again, I wasn't in the meeting, but that somebody did the thing, and then they came up, and they wanted to think about like, all right, you're getting your arms up out of the way, you're doing it, and people weren't doing it, so someone emphasized it, and it looked cool, and it became part of the copy. And then someone said like, oh, you're reaching down and grabbing their gi bands and pulling them up. I mean, lore and embellishment happen everywhere in the world. Why wouldn't it happen? There was on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday. He had a thing about indigenous rights and whatever. And then he said, like, people back then were just as full of crap as we are today. So, that we're one with the earth is just as much, like probably some dude just going like, oh yes, the wind is blowing because the old man in the sea is blowing it. I don't know. Anyway, I think overemphasizing anything in a content when you don't do it anywhere else is much more likely to be someone was emphasizing something for a reason and it just stuck and became a thing. That's kind of my default position on that. So yeah, like for that, boom, here, and then getting your hips down and then coming up. Could have totally been a like, get your hips in there, you're coming in and you're bringing that weight in and you're like, bam, someone's coming in and punching and maybe you're coming in and you want to get a good shot. And one of the ways to get a good shot is to get your knee in here, which is, when we do like stuff like that, and we're doing stuff like we're engaging our hips. They're trying to get you to engage your hips, get your hips moving, and then that became a thing, So, all right. So that note, once we got a couple minutes, I want you to know Tai Chi speed. All right. So when you're doing this, like especially with these, pay attention to that core of what you're doing, right? And then hip. This one probably kind of help answer that question of where the hip height and whatnot is coming in. And then so balls of your feet. Pay attention to your hara and your tanrin. All right, what you know? Oh, okay. Come on, man. Let's get it. Pinan Sandan.
Right.
Tai Chi style. Hajime. Oh, that's right. You're right. Hajime. Don't forget to breathe. Of them hips. Breathe. Damn it. Okay. So on these guys. Are you doing knuckles out? Or are you doing a down block and a judo kick? Yeah, okay.
Doing hybrid, honestly. Because
Right.
I
There you
like the
go.
knuckle. I want to hit with those knuckles. I don't personally. I don't want to do the blocks. I mean, if I was doing it as a green belt, I would do it. Cock reverse, cock okay, and down block. Boom, boom. But I would rather.
Yeah, the right answer is hybrid, and the overarching right answer is
Right.
And if the technique is good, the technique is good. I mean, so but I get that. Again, goes back to the mindset of like, what am I doing? And so, Valiant Ruffian's coming in. I'm giving myself some distance because he punched. I'm blocking. So in this case, working on assumption that he's punching right because there's no left-handed samurai. On this one is I'm coming in and I've still got his hand should still be here. In this application. So when it comes in, it's like, yeah, I'm thinking this is a strike. I'm just parry, pass, and then maybe now I'm on the inside of him. Or, he's punched and I'm doing, like in black belt Ippon Kumite and he's punched with his left hand and I've cut that left hand and I've moved it out of the way. But probably I won't be hanging out here is I guess my big flick on these is, if he's swinging on whatever, I cleared to move distance and I come in and I will probably, since this hand is here, I probably wouldn't change. I'd probably just come in with a shot to the groin or whatever. But since since I'm on the inside, the system does stuff on the outside, so I wanna get to the outside of him. And I think that's what this bit is, right, so, he's punched, I've intercepted, now I'm on the outside of him, so now I should be on the outside of the 45. He's here, I've intercepted, now I'm on the outside of the 45. So now that's a shot to the groin, right? It wouldn't be a block, probably be a shot to the groin, right? Unless that hand drifted and now I'm moving anyway. So there's that, and then maybe he's punching with the left, and so I catch that left, and then I hit him down. So that would just be like bang, bang, bang on brown belt, Ippon Kumite or whatever. So one of the things that I did, again, want to go back to like, what am I doing in the kata? Is where's their center line, where's my center line, and what does our system say? Our system says, get on the outside, more often than not. So, what am I doing is, I'm intercepting, I'm getting on the outside, doing a little kazushi or whatever's going on, and then maybe, so, grab his hair. And, hit one with it more. Come in with it with an elbow shot or whatever. And that becomes that. It's, for the applications for bunkai and whatnot, it's the homage of what the hands are doing. It's not necessarily exactly what they're doing. But from an kata application, if that's a word, phrase, it's whatever I'm doing, whatever technique I'm doing. If I'm doing that, or I'm doing that, or I'm doing that for whatever reason, I should have an application in mind of what I'm doing in order to keep the emphasis. And then also probably not the overriding aspect, but equal is what is my system doing for you guys as you pass these ancient scrolls down to the next generation or next generation after that, is what is my system doing? What am I telling? Am I standing there and fighting? Or am I getting off the center line and defending myself? So that was, what was I talking to the other day about that is, like whatever I'm doing, I'm not standing there and punching. And I was working with the guys and doing Budo, and I was let them know, I'm not standing there fighting. I'm boom, and then I'm getting off center line. I did everything I'm doing. I'm not doing that. Just like in karate, I'm not, unless I'm Kyokushin, I'm not standing there and taking it. I'm kicking off and then getting on. So, anyway. But you guys got to look good. So it was, it's just, I think, especially just, as we go forward, especially because camp's coming up in a little while, that is letting that technique go through, right? Because this is our first camp post Kaicho. So we don't know what's going to happen in April when they go to Okinawa, but when you get on the floor at camp, I want them to see your technique, right? And the more you think about what I'm doing and how this goes with our system, I think the better off it is. And then I won't talk.
Nice.
Alright. What's that?
Said domo arigato.
Oh, okay. All right. That muttering was like, yeah, whatever, old man. All right. Well, there's no comments, critiques, or suggestions. Yeah, no, I look good. So yeah, that's Adam. So I mean, like 30 minutes. I mean, you can go like forever on one kata, the entire class if you want to, especially if you're in the same room. Anyway, all right. Then if that's the case, let's wrap it up. Junacha, take us home.
Hey. Kyotsuke. Ushiro mo atte migi kitobi o nasu. Again, which is only me. Show me. Sensei ni de. どうもありがとうございます。
どうもありがとうございました。
先生。さよなら先生。
Sayonara, guys. Even the ones not working.
はい、先輩で。どうもありがとうございます。
Senpai,気をつけ。Hey. どうもありがとうございました。
はい。